Good morning, Solaris 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Season 2 of Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Geoff. Welcome back, fight fans, to another episode of Uncivil Discourse. As we head into our halfway mark, things are starting to heat up. We have a couple of players that are off and running, holding hard to those top slots, but don't let things fool you. We are far from over, and the remaining games could play out any way they want to still.
Yep, we've rarely ever had anybody play a perfect season. I'm expecting to see those top players drop, and since they have to play each other later on in the season, I expect at least one of them to have a loss unless they somehow pull a tie out.
Yeah, Lee, you are correct. They eventually have to face each other, and, somebody's got to come out a winner, and somebody, or unless they tie, of course.
Yeah, I know, that's going to be really weird if it does happen.
Yeah. Now, most of our matches have been hitting around 11 rounds, or the higher mark, and only a few need to, get that little extra push to get more turns in. Remember, more turns in the end is better for everyone. Not only does it help with, getting kills and flushing out the standings, but more rounds, more fun, right?
More epic events coming up.
More kaboom.
No, less Atlas kaboom.
More Atlas kaboom. Always more Atlas kaboom.
Yeah, nobody else needs to kill it because he kills it himself.
That happened one time.
Almost two,
and Alex almost do it. So it's basically being phrased as Sachowski now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a good thing Laura doesn't share your last name.
Yeah, that never happened.
Moving on to this week's special announcements. Clan Fox has been seen bringing in a load of new stocks and supplies to the Ogre's Den recently. Those hard-to-find Lance packs and Comstar packs and the Clan Ad Hoc Lance are now available and in stock, or at least at the time we're speaking right now. 7 of the Neoprene maps are out, and they are awesome. I would love it to be able to replace the League maps with it, but it's a pretty big expense. And while the initial beginner's box set sold out in record time, resupply orders have already gone in, so we expect to see them soon. Not only that, today, Sunday, we had a 2-on-2 fun game played at the Den. JP, Galen, Geoff P, and last year's champion Steven drove all the way down to play, and they ended up playing an 8-on-8 match with League-compliant lances. And after hours of fun, I did get to watch some of it, it ended up being a draw, as JP and Steven were able to right their ship and bring it back to a tie after taking some serious losses from the newer players. Great game, guys, and we look forward to hearing more about these impromptu matches, because it's always great to see you guys play outside of League Day. And on that note, Ogre's Den has been a fantastic place to host us, and we want to send a special shout out to our friendly local game store for all the support, because without them, League wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't have that awesome place to go to on Sundays just to hang out and be with friends.
All right, with that in mind, that'll bring us to this week's skill spends. Going through the list, because it is quite extensive, a few teams had double buys this week. Starting off with Condo's Janissaries, they used Black Market to put a targeting computer on their C-Sang. The Doombuds used favorite weapon LRM-15 on the longbow. That longbow had previously engineered up to 4 LRM-15s, so it's going to be quite dangerous now. Mass Destruction takes Trial Run on the Salamander. Expect him to start using some of those LRM ammos, and still not being able to win a game.
Well, that's going to happen, but I get to do the evil laugh. I'm happy.
Donru Tiger Slayers pick up Camouflage on the Battlemaster, hoping it'll survive more than 7 rounds now going forward. Blitzkrieg Jezebels pick up Forest Fire on the Crab. And Odin Storm Riders pick up Missile Grouping on the Archer. That Archer should be fairly dangerous now. Kel's Keshik pick up Gunnery on the King Crab. Lords of the Underworld, Bribery on the Perseus, and Careful Maneuvering on the Berserker. Red Sun's Irregulars pick up Engineering on the Thunderbolt to add a Gauss rifle. Tin Man's Tin Cans pick up Clan Salvage LRM-20 on the Battlemaster. Thumper's Revenge pick up Steady Hand on the Thunderbolt, and Jam It on the Thunderbolt. B-Side Brawlers pick up Bribery on the Axeman, and Called Shot on the Archer. Vandal's Valkyrie and the War Club both bank this week, while Parker's Pathfinders pick up Gunnery on the Grasshopper. Abishai's Avengers pick up a Black Market spend to put a target computer on the Cronus. Flying Tigers also used engineering on their T-Bolt for a Gauss rifle. Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates used chassis upgrade from their Enforcer to Shadowhawk 5M. And then they used Technician to get rid of the Ultra AC5 for ERPPC on that Shadowhawk 5M. Riston Rogue uses Lethargic on the Cerberus. The Fallen Angels pick up favorite weapon ERPPC on an Awesome. Pretty sure they had that last year too, although it would have been PPC on an Awesome AQ. Blood of Bashir pick up Gunnery on the Longbow and Speed Demon on the Longbow. Second St. Wow, I mess up on my own lines. Second St. Ives Janissaries, Hunchback, picks up Black Market and Cram.
There's some interesting skill spends this time around, Forest Fire. I've always liked Forest Fire. That's good on the crab there for the Blitzkrieg Jezebels.
Your name was brought up when she was talking about picking her skills.
Oh, well, hey, listen, I picked it and used it to good use last year, so... Trial run on the Salamander, such a cop-out. It's just...
What are you talking about? If I didn't do it, Brett threatened to remove the skill from the league packet.
Yep, it's in there because of him for 2 years. If he didn't use it either season, it was going to go.
Well, somebody had to pay the points for it, right?
Might as well be the guy that wanted it in the package to begin with.
Yep, exactly. No, there's some good spends. Interesting. I'm interested to see what was done with the T-Bolt to give them Gauss rifles, because I think they were both running the same T-Bolt, weren't they?
They were both running the 9SE T-Bolt.
Yeah, be interesting to see what was changed on them.
I'm really excited to see the Blood of Bashir get some spends in. They were really at risk of losing some skill points, so getting those spends in and getting some improvements on their mechs is a great move.
I could have shook my head at the Longbow getting Speed Demon. It's an interesting choice, Probably not
it's
what
definitely an unexpected spend.
Oh yeah, definitely unexpected.
Yeah, and you know what? We don't know. Like, really, you have never done it. I've never taken the skill ever. It may turn out to be the best thing he's ever done with the mech.
Exactly. It could be. Maybe he gets in that spot that needs to that much faster, right?
Yep.
Well, quite often, that 1 point of movement can make the difference between I can get that extra around this hill, I can change my movement facing so that I've got line of sight. It might just be the magic BB that gets him into some more wins.
Yep, might help him out a lot. We don't know.
Yeah, and I see we got two teams that banked, so I'm predicting maybe a Gunnery or something out of those two once they get their points next time.
Any of the more expensive skills, the 5s and the 6s. And
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Mountaineer's a 5-point skill that seems to be lacking this season.
Mountaineer's not a 5-point skill, sir.
Oh, right. We dropped it from 5 to 4.
Yeah, it matches
and
up
Heather
with
has it. Heather has it on her Marauder.
Yeah, but last year it was on like a third of the max.
Yeah, and you know what? Some people, if I've been looking at the spends, people are still doing a lot of mech alterations, but a lot of people are doing things in the gunnery ranges and doing things to improve the guns they have, like you taking Cram on your Hunchback and stuff like that. It's looking interesting to watch how these people are doing stuff.
All right, with that out of the way, now let us take a look and see how Week 4 matches played out. Game number 1, Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates faced off against Kondo's Janissaries. They faced each other in the Plains of Death. Not our highest scoring game, but the Plains see plenty of death regardless, with a 3-2 victory for Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates today.
This was a massive surprise. Not that Galen's not a great player. It's the fact that JP had such difficulties with hitting. It must have really worn off on him, your game with him, Geoff, where both of you were having a heck of a time getting shots off. So, you know what? It's probably just a little bit of taint from your guys' game. I'm quite sure JP will bounce back next game. Good luck with him on the next one, and congratulations, Galen. That was a great game.
I am not overly surprised with the win because JP and myself have been having a horrible dice the entire season so far when it comes to hitting. You know, it's been very annoying at times, right? Like, yeah. So, but no, good job, Galen, on the win, and good luck with the rest of the season because I think you don't play myself or Lee. I don't think. No, you've already played Lee, right?
Who, Galen? Nope, I haven't played Galen yet.
No, do you play Galen?
I'd have to check the schedule. I haven't been watching that far.
Galen next beats up on his child for Abishai's Avengers.
Yep.
Then he's got Calvin in the War Club, Vandals Valkyries, Thumpers, Red Suns, and then kills Keshik.
Right on.
So he doesn't play any of the admin this season.
Good for us, because I think he might have just tap danced all on our graves.
And I mean, dice being what they are, some people that have been on a hot streak might find their next couple of games, their dice balance out. Those that have been a little lackluster may just start tearing things up for the next back half of the season.
Yeah, every game, it's like any given Sunday. You never know. Hey, that actually worked really well. The way that works out is really dice or dice, right? Luck is luck. Your luck's going to turn at some point, or you're going to stay average.
I'd rather be average all season long. But with that being said,
I dream of being average.
I would settle for average.
All right, game number 2, Flying Tigers versus Riston's Rogues. They marched onto the Wooded Hills, these two teams, have a throwdown showdown. Geoff, why don't you tell us about it?
It was a good game. It was great to play Paul again. You know, I haven't played Paul since I was in the original league many moons ago.
Since your teenage years?
Yeah, exactly. Since my teenage years, yeah. So no, it was a good game. You know, I couldn't hit. Paul couldn't hit for the most part. In the end, I got lucky by concentrating fire in like the last round of play and killed 2 of his mechs. Outside of that, you know, it was his unlucky Victor didn't, you know, he hit once with all of his AC 20 rounds. It was, and he didn't have bad odds either, right? Like 7s and 8s at times that he just, it was like me, he just couldn't hit.
That'll make any game a long, drawn-out affair. And I know Paul's quite tired some days when he shows up at League, which because he works evenings or nights outside of League, and that could have been part of the slow play. But all in all, Paul is a lot of fun to play with. Hopefully, you were able to experience that too, Geoff. I know you've played him in the past.
Oh yeah, no, it's always great fun to play Paul. We still got 11 rounds in, right? So
that's average. Right?
Yeah.
That's average for League right now. And to be honest, Paul's just fun to play the game with. I know he's going to turn it around at some point, and we're going to see the other Paul that comes to League mentally, and it's going to be really fun to watch. And just like the Vandals, we're going to see a turnaround. Something's going to happen, and these guys are really going to start causing opponents trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be a hoot. Game number 3, Abishai's Avengers versus the Fallen Angels. For the first time this season, we see one of our custom maps in use. The Dusty Plains, with its limited visibility of 415 meters, or 15 hexes for the game threshold. This game should have played well for one of the teams. Turns out that the range of those AC2s on the Jagermech don't make a lot of impact when you can't see that far. This turns into be another 4-0 victory for Abishai's Avengers.
To be honest, the end result isn't a huge surprise. John has been having a little bit of struggles with his players because he's doing an awful lot of mentoring while he's playing. Who can argue with Max's luck? Like, his dice are hot. And just like last week with my game against Calvin, when your dice are hot, there's nothing you can do about it. Max is also a good player, so he knows his ranges, he knows who to focus on, and I think that Jagermech is getting picked on because it ends up being the lowest defensive modifier on the board, or tied with one of the other mechs, and it's just a weaker armored machine. It needs to be keeping back behind some cover, taking pot shots on not the best numbers at the beginning of the game until some damage has been done to everybody else, and then get in there, get those racks spinning, and get those LB2Xs firing, and take advantage of the holes. Trying to keep gunning it out during the game is just going to keep getting it killed.
Yeah, that's good on them for playing on the custom map, but that is the limited of 15 hexes for visibility. That was certainly not in the Jagermech's favor by any means. Good job, Max. John, come on, man. I want ties. You said we were going for ties, so I want to see those ties.
Custom map used. I call this a win in my books.
It is a win, and John had a good game. He enjoyed the game. It was just watching that poor Jagermech once again eat it early. This time it wasn't a floating critical setting off ammo. It was just simply being the easier of the mechs to hit.
All right. Game number 4. Parker's Pathfinders versus the Second St. Ives Janissaries. This week sees the River Basin map actually seeing some action. For the last 2 weeks, the teams that pulled this arena have decided to fight it out on the default settings instead. Not so today, with Parker's Pathfinders having 2 jumping mechs and looking to slow the Second St. Ives Janissaries Atlas down. The Wolverine goes in first and draws fire, then falls back as the Grasshopper moves up, just in time to take an AC-20 to the face. Few rounds later, the Wolverine gets its revenge and shoots the Hunchback in the back, setting off the ammo in the torso, and killing it. Both the Atlas and the Marauder 2 take a crap kicking, but only the Atlas goes down. A little bit different grouping, and the Marauder would have been down too. This ends in a 4-2 victory for the Second St. Ives Janissaries today.
This actually sounds like a much closer fight than it turned out for overall score, which is amazing. Way to go, Chris, to take it to Brett, because that Atlas is a horror show. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that was a pretty decent map choice to fight you on that, to try to slow you down a bit and block line of sight, because then his faster mechs can maneuver around you. Yeah, that Arcana 20 to the face sounded like just a really bad, unfortunate event for the Grasshopper. Good luck on your next match, Chris. I'm quite sure you're going to do great. And Brett, I'm glad I don't think I see you in the regular season. I'm going to have to do some real thinking on how to take you out in the playoffs.
Yeah, Lee, you're safe till playoffs if you can make it up there.
I'm coming. Don't worry.
Just make him roll explosions on ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the secret. I failed every single piloting roll I had to stay standing, whether I took 21 points of damage or whether I took 45 points of damage. Every piloting skill roll to stay standing failed.
You're going to be walking through a lot of minefields when I'm on the board.
Oh, those ones I made, because I made it through all the piloting through the water, too.
Well, I'm not worried about the piloting order. I'm just going to burn your legs off.
He doesn't need legs.
Come here, I'll bite your ankles off.
Nearly a flesh wound.
Yeah, when I looked over at your guys' game, it was I thought Chris was going to take it. You know, You said both your Atlas and the Marauder were looking pretty beat up, and so
I don't think either of them had a spot that wasn't internal.
That's crazy. Unfortunately, I believe Chris and I play next, so you know.
Yeah, Chris has got a bit of a rough second half of the season, but you know what? He's learning quickly. Like, he's learned so much since last season. I think the fact that he's taking these games close and close and close, it's going to end up paying off in the long run, and I bet he has a bit of a run at the end of the season.
Oh, he is leaps and bounds and miles ahead of where he was last season.
Yep.
Good on Chris.
And hey, like I said, I can't hit anyways on the best of days right now, so you know.
Alrighty, game number 5, the Blood of Bashir versus the Doom Buds. Our Road in the Hills arena hosts this match, and boy is it a match. After 3 losses, the Doom Buds come out swinging, proving they do know how to throw some damage downrange. Blood of Bashir go down hard in a 4-0 loss.
I am really happy to see Alex win. It's just too bad it was at the cost of Andrew's lance. Both lances are really strong. Both lances are really good. Alex, with his C3I system and the number of missiles he can throw down range, really does pair up well with the Blood of Bashir. and his number of missiles he's throwing downfield, and PPCs, like both lances are really strong long range. I'm pretty pleased to see Alex win. Sorry to hear about your loss, Andrew. I know you're going to bounce back and do well throughout the rest of the season.
You know, even when Andrew's losing, he's still having a great time, and his attitude so far the entire league has been great, which is nice to see. I am really hoping one of these matches we're going to see Andrew like a 4-0 somebody, right? Good job to Alex on getting the win. You know, he needed the win too. That 4-0 is great for him. And I think he's really putting that C3I, now that he's got it up and running, to good use.
Yeah, both of these players had a really good game. They had a lot of fun. They always seem to have a lot of fun. Andrew is having a good time, but he runs into me next, so he's got another rough game. But we can't forget that his first game of Battletech ever was against Mass Destruction, and he took him to a 2-0 win.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. He can definitely play the game. Like, he's going to do great. He just needs to keep at it, keep learning the tactics, keep learning the tech. He seems to have a really good grasp on ranges. So, yeah, I don't see him continuing this downward spiral. I see him starting to turn it around in the last half of the season and really get strong.
Game number 6, the War Club versus Mass Destruction. Drawing the Barren Lands Arena, we can have Lee tell us all about this tussle.
I don't know if I can do it without crying. Calvin ran me over. That's all I can say. He did exactly the right thing to take on my C3I by charging at me. Now, I'm going to blame Brett for a piss poor build on my Salamander. No. You did fine with my Salamander. There was very little else you could have done. I actually really liked the design. No, but Calvin did great. He just charged at me with his ECM mechs. His Night Sky was next to impossible to really tie down. I did quite a bit of damage to 3 of his mechs. His Devastator was not getting up anytime soon, and his other 2 mechs, other than the Awesome, were decently battered, but my Salamander fell down like 4th round, never got up. He got like 3 rounds of fire and then fell down. That was the end of him. And when he really is the backbone of my lance for missiles, it just took the wind right out of me. And he won handily. It wasn't just his dice either. His tactics were great. I see Calvin going really long time in this league with victories, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the A-side playoffs.
Yeah, Calvin seems pretty unstoppable right now, right? He's doing great. He's getting those kills in. He's had, I think, almost all of his games have been a 4 victory, right? Yeah.
Same thing with Max. They are just clearing the board of people.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I expected better of you, Lee. You know, I'm very disappointed.
He did the best I could. I couldn't hit on averages again, and he couldn't miss on high numbers. What am I supposed to do?
I'm still disappointed.
Concentrate, fire better.
Yeah, get good, scrub.
Yeah, intensify forward firepower, right?
He hit me on 10s. He hit me with 2 Gauss rifles. Both of them hit me in the right torso on my Archer. And the next turn, he ends up opening up the other torso on my Archer with combined fire and starts hitting ammo. Like, it was just ugly. And it was great. Well played. But, yeah, I'm lucky I survived as long as I did.
So just for our fans, confirming the score for this one was 4-0. War Club victory.
Shh. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, but there might have been bets out there, and people need to know this kill count.
Wah, 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 wah.
Game number 7, Vandals Valkyries versus the Donru Tiger Slayers. The Red Peaks Arena hosts this battle of the MRM and the C3 versus the LB20. We heard lots of compliments on this arena, as it is one of the replacements from last year. After the dust settles, all is said and done, we see the Donru Tiger Slayers walk off with a 2-0 victory.
Vandals Valkyries, I promise I will not predict another win for you for the rest of the season, because we seem to keep jinxing you. He runs up, weathering the damage from the Donru Tiger Slayers, gets within range, goes to fire his big Ultra 20. The first time he fires it Ultra, he rolls Snake's Eyes and jams it. It was just downhill spiral the entire game. The fact it wasn't a 4-0 sweep actually surprised me with how bad Chris's luck was. Now, Brandon played great, as he should. He has very confident in his tech and his mechs. It's just, yeah, I don't know what else to say about the Vandals Valkyries. I'm expecting them to turn it around, but I'm not going to say it anymore, and I'm not going to predict it anymore.
Join the curse of the bad dice. You know, it's just, it seems to be plaguing a bunch of people this year. Yeah, no, I had hope for all those LB20s and Ultra 20s to, you know, sandblast stuff, and that Annihilator with the 4 LB20 or LB10s. That's like taking sandpaper to the mech every single time.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to happen. It's got to happen, right? I don't care if he has to do it in an out of league game. It's got to happen. He's gonna just obliterate somebody.
Yeah, exactly. But the Dondru Tiger Slayers, they've had such good luck with that MRM, right? Like, on their, it's just coupled with the C3I, or the C3, I should say, sorry. You know, from what I've been hearing, he's been having really good luck with it.
Yeah, the Orion's been doing work with the Gauss rifle in the MRM 20 and 30.
Yeah, that's a pretty sad, not sad, that's a pretty scary mech.
It's died every game, but that's why.
Oh, didn't die this time.
Oh, right, it didn't.
Yeah, nobody died when it's a 2-0 victory.
All right, game number 8, we see the B-side Brawlers versus the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. This match has been brought to you by Humble Pie, now made with real bees.
Aaron, I told you, I warned you, the Blitzkrieg Jezebels are no joke. You cannot just push them aside on your way to your loss against me next week. You cannot ignore the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. They've got a great lance, they're really solid, and you just didn't take them seriously enough. A 2-0 Blitzkrieg Jezebels win is exactly what Aaron needed this week to get ready for his, I'm going to predict it before you even get there, 3-1 victory next, or not victory, loss.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, you quiet. Loss against me.
Yep. Good work, Heather. Good work. All that trash talk, and he doesn't pull through.
He couldn't even kill one of her mechs.
I know, right?
Not even one. Like, where's all this smack talk and skill? Like, it's, and then I just saw his skill spends. What the heck, man? Like, come on, get good, man.
Clearly, he was getting his loss out of the way before he comes up against you.
Yeah, I'm expecting something similar to what happened with Calvin, to be honest, but I'm not going to vote against myself, so we'll see how it works out.
I mean, B-Side's got it up pretty rough. He faces all 3 admins in his next 3 games.
Listen, you just get your 4-0 victory against Lee there, Aaron, and, you know, then you can just lose to Brett and I, right? You know?
Lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps him in the B-side.
It's almost like he's named for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, game number 9, Thumper's Revenge versus Odin Storm Riders. The Mountain Lakes Arena tends to have a lower kill count on it, as it has lots of spots where line of sight can be broken, and it can just take some time to slog around those mountains. This match proved to be no different, ending in our only tie this week, 1-1.
I'm really happy to see that both the lovely ladies of the Calgary Battletech League did not lose this week. They both played really solid games. I know that Odin's Storm Riders are a really solid, difficult team to play against, but if it's moving slowly, you're really going to start eating LRMs, and the Thumper's Revenge has them in spades. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that it was a tie. I'm actually, the part of it that is surprising is that Thumper's Revenge didn't just win.
I'm going to blame all of this on the fact that, you know, we switched him to his proper name that he wanted to start with, from Oni Storm Riders to Odin Storm Riders, right?
Is he cursed now?
I think that's the case, yeah.
Ooh. We call it now. You've been cursed, sir.
Yeah, I think that's the case, you know?
Yeah. Can't be changing names mid-season.
Yeah. No, both teams have really good lineups, and you know, it's 1-1 tie. Hey, I had a 1-1 tie, right? So nothing wrong with that. As long as both players have fun, right?
Yeah.
All right, into game number 10. Tin Man's Tin Cans versus Kel's Keshik. This week's Battle of the Painters sees our two epically painted lances face off against each other in a city fight on the pavement experience map. Crumpling them up like empty beer cans, the Kel's Keshik walk off the field with a 4-0 victory today.
Did we not talk about the Tin Man Tin Cans being a walking wall of metal that nobody seems to be able to get past? But when it comes right down to it, he hasn't been winning. I'm really surprised Justin hasn't been crushing people, but Kel's Keshik comes up and pretty much just wipes him off the board. It's really surprising. I'm gonna have to start paying closer attention to these mechs that Tin Man's Tin Cans are fielding, and maybe find out what that flaw is, because I'm pretty sure I face him in a couple of weeks.
So for those interested, it's an Enforcer with a rack and a targeting computer, Warhammer with 2 air PPCs, 2 air mediums, a targeting computer going 5-8-3, a Battlemaster 3S with now a Clan LRM-20 on it, and the Longbow 12C, which is the 220s and the ER large, I believe.
How is he losing?
No, I think that's actually the 220s, 215s. Sorry, my bad.
That's a solid lance. He should be winning more.
Well, they did fight in the city, and Kel's Keshik is, let's just say, close range is a specialty.
True. He's probably one of the only guys that can throw as much slugs as the Valkyries.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I am disappointed though that we didn't. It's a 4-0, right?
Always like to see somebody get at least that one kill in, right? If they can.
Oh, it would be nice in a perfect world, right? But Justin. We should all do a dice swap. I think that this is what it's coming down to, right? Everybody needs to trade dice one day on games day and just be like, you use these dice. Then we'll see how bad we all roll.
Hand your dice to the next table over. They hand theirs down at 1. They hand theirs down 1.
Yeah, that'd be a fun way to do it, as well as watching people taint other people's mechs with or dice with bad luck.
Yeah, mine already have bad luck, so you can't go much worse.
I don't think it's going to matter what dice John holds, so we'll see how that works out. But I think we should try that one week.
That could be an interesting, different mix-up.
I know JP and I've already talked about if next match our game is going no hits, we're just going to trade dice. Because we can't roll any worse, right? So
that is true.
All right. Game number 11. Red Suns Irregulars versus the Lords of the Underworld. Going down a path less traveled, these teams meet, fight, and come out with a clearly defined winner. I don't think Timmy had a very good day, but those boys from Saskatchewan prove they do in fact know how to win and pull out a 4-1 Red Suns victory.
Let's go, Riders. Let's go. I actually didn't even realize that Gary was from Saskatchewan. Right on, Gary. Way to go, man.
I honestly don't remember if he's from Saskatchewan or he just spent a bunch of time there.
That's the same thing with me. I wasn't born in Saskatchewan. I'm a Riders fan. Anyway, way to go, Gary. I think I might have predicted this one. I'm not positive. I'd have to check. But way to go. It's great to see the Red Suns start pulling out some wins. Lords of the Underworld, you're going to keep coming back, and you're going to start taking some wins as well. I know you guys have the ability and the skill. We just got to see your dice start going in your favor.
I know I was sitting beside these guys while they're playing, and I was calling for Gary to 6-spin and jam racks, but, he just wouldn't oblige.
Because you hate racks. You have an issue with them.
No, I just want to see people 6-spin and jam them. No, good work, Gary. Yeah, I really like the Lord of the Underworld's mechs, right? Like,
yep.
Some of his mech choices and upgrades are really, really good, and I'm expecting he's got to get a win in there and turn some stuff around, right?
Yeah, at a certain point, everybody's luck turns.
Yep, exactly.
Sometimes to the good, sometimes to the bad. We'll see.
Now, don't overlook, he did actually have a win in round 2.
Oh, I know. He's totally
yeah.
possible to
Yeah.
do it. He's totally capable of it. I just think it's a little bit of bad luck. Those of us who are playing 500 and under, it's mostly been bad luck. It's not been really bad tactics. It's not been really bad map choices or even mech choices. It's been luck. Like,
You know, I do not want to throw any one individual under the bus, but there is only one team this year that has not scored a single win or a tie so far. So it is definitely a good season where everybody's having, except for that one team, and I'm sure it's coming, their turn is coming, but everybody's getting at least a win, they're getting a tie, and they're having a bunch of fun from what I can see. We now move into our next special segment, the interview of the week. This week, we have a very special person coming in. We have Laura from the Thumper's Revenge, the other half of Spawning Alexander from the Doombuds Lance. And here you go, Lee. Take away that interview.
well, everyone, welcome to tonight's interview. I have a very special guest with me tonight. It is Laura, the other half and more important half of the parenting duo that brings us Alex to League. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Finally recognizing that Alex has another parent in League.
Yeah, I know. And as in the email I sent you, we at the CBL would really like to apologize for being such dunces and forgetting that Alex has two parents in the league. So sorry. So on the note of having two of your family members in League, what does that feel to you to have your full family in League with you?
Oh, fantastic. Because I get to hopefully see them both on the battlefield and kick their ass.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much you've played. You haven't played Brett yet this year, have you?
Or last year. Nope.
All right, well, hopefully you guys will see each other in the playoffs. I don't think you guys see each other in the regular season. And Brett did play Alex earlier, so we'll see how that...
And I play Alex, I think, in 2.
Ooh, that's going to be fun. Alex is going to get a beating from his parents again.
Possibly. Yep.
So I've really noticed that, especially these past 2 seasons, you've had a rabbit theme going with your team names. Why is that? And what is it? Where did all that come from?
My second favorite Disney character for Bambi, Thumper.
Oh, right.
And I figured it would be a little bit better having a rabbit-themed Lance than a skunk-themed Lance.
You know what? The paint scheme would be easier.
Yeah, I suppose. But connotation to any, skunks.
Yeah,
no,
it was probably better.
Rabbit.
Thumper. Yeah, Thumper was better.
Peter.
Yeah. So you and I are both using salamanders this season, and 2 different variants as well. What do you like about the mech, and what would you have done differently, if anything at all, with it? I know mine was very specifically the LRMs, and you went with, I think, 1 less LRM and SRM 6s. What do you think of the mech?
I love it. Like, it was... Okay. This one came in. I, honest to God, thought it was a quad mech. Because I had my heart set on having a quad mech this year. And then Brett shows me the mini, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, that's your salamander. And the first thing I thought of when I looked at it was that it looked like the little robots from Fifth Element.
Okay.
They got the little head and the big shoulders.
I got you.
And then I painted it. And the paint job is fantastic. I wouldn't change anything for the weapons. The 2 LRM-20s and the SRM launcher, all with Artemis. Pairing it with my Stalker that has 2 LRM-20s and 2 Streak 6s.
Ooh, that is a solid, Max. I'm kind of glad I'm not facing you till playoffs.
I love rolling the dice for those. They're just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I had heard something about your Streak 6s, so I thought that might have been the mech that had it, because I know when you were playing, I think it was Will, he was just shuddering every time you rolled for the missile hits.
Yeah, no, my stalker has the deadly dice, streak 6s. I hit with both racks and I had handfuls of dice.
Yeah. My stalker was a terror last season. People were quite afraid of it, and I only had 15s on it. I didn't have 20s. So yeah, yours
I
with two
remember.
20s and 2 streak 6s, that's a pretty solid mech.
Yeah.
So speaking of last season, you and Heather, my wife, are the only female members of League this year, as Mackenzie had to drop out, and she was in last year. How do you think the women have been doing over the past couple of seasons, and what do you think your chances are for going all the way this season?
Well, I'm not really sure how Heather's doing. I only managed to watch the one match. But she seems to be a powerhouse like last year. I'm pretty sure she made playoffs last year on the A side, and I made it on the B side. I was disappointed again. I'd love to have played her this year, but hopefully I play her in playoffs because I think it'll be a fun match.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only hit the button to set up the schedule. I don't really control who plays who, so that was out of my control. Otherwise, I definitely would have had the two of you playing.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You think you're going to make A side this season the way things are going?
If I keep winning, I hope. I mean, I think a couple choice people out there have to lose.
Oh yeah, there's some people at the top end that are playing pretty powerfully. We're going to have to try knocking them down a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think I have, at the moment, the top 1 or 2 people are my last 2 games this season before playoffs.
We've looked at the schedule a little bit, and yeah, there's some players that have some pretty tough seasons. But like I said, it's random, so there's nothing we can really do about it at that point. But you know what? The good thing about it is when you play tougher players, you will end up usually playing a little bit better, and you learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I'm not going to say that I'm one of the better players, but when you and I played, you played a lot better than I was expecting, and you scared me a lot.
Well, then I really hope I find you in playoffs.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to play in the playoffs. You can just keep your LRM 20s to yourself, because I downgraded most of mine to 15s.
Oh, well, sucks to be you, man.
So, as always in the interviews, I always give the interviewee an opportunity to say anything they'd like to pass on to the league, whether it's bravado or just a warm welcome or a warm greeting, or anything you want to say to Battletech fans in general, so hopefully they get out into the world.
This is the hardest question, you know that.
Yeah, everyone has struggled with it, and I think it's the easiest one.
I think the best thing I can say to new players, because I was a new player last year, is that don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, everybody is helpful. They'll always give you some sort of answer, and if they don't know the honest answer, they'll either pick up the book or go find somebody who does know. Like, the biggest thing is that nobody will tell you, oh, I don't know, go find somebody else.
Yeah, and that the community has been pretty much a universal statement by everyone I've asked, how strong our community is. So it's really awesome that the new players have the veterans to come to. The players who are a little bit unsure about their rules know they can get the answer from pretty much anybody. Aim in a direction and someone's going to be able to tell you what's going on. And we're not shy about sharing rules.
Yeah.
So, Laura, I want to thank you for joining me tonight for the interview. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday when we get to beat up on some machines and have a good time.
And I apologize if you lose because I kind of helped Aaron with his spends this week.
Hey, I'm not worried about Aaron. We're always going to have a good game. All right. Talk to you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Lee, for that wonderful interview, and I'm sure everybody involved had a great time.
Are we sure about that, though?
I mean,
Well,
that
she
could be a
didn't say she
follow-up
was
interview.
never going to come back. So that was a good sign.
That's always good. Yeah.
I didn't hear anything being thrown.
Thanks, Laura, for being our interview this week.
This will take us into our week 5 matches. This is going to be darn exciting because, well, I'm going to get the win-loss tie properly this time, so nobody will be confused. And secondly, it is the mid-season game. So, game number 1, we'll have the Condo Janissaries with 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie, facing up against the Flying Tigers, who have 0 wins, 4 losses, and 0 ties. I would love to say that this is the game that Paul turns the season around and takes the win, and it's completely possible. JP has shown a bit of a weakness. He lost to Galen. My prediction on this one, I really do think, though, that JP is going to bounce it back. It's going to be a close game. The Flying Tigers are going to get their first kill, and they're going to get it in spades, so it's going to be a 3-2 victory for the Condos Janissaries.
Oh, tough call on this one. I want to see Paul do everything that Paul does. I want to see like a charge with mask. I want to see a couple of jumps in and just get or circle around one mech and just kick it to death. I want him to get his kill this game. 4-1 Condos Janissaries. Paul is finally going to take something out. He's going to double up with the Ultra 20 on a leg. It's going to go down, and then he's going to get everybody in there and just kick it to death.
Wow, so violent. I, on the other hand, I think it's just going to be a 2-1. I think Paul is going to get that kill in, but I do think it's going to be a 2-1 for JP. JP's dice are going to be just like mine the entire season so far, and his the entire season so far. And it's just not going to hit, and it's going to be a struggle to get some kills, I think.
Game number 2, we have the Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates. 3 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties. They're going to be rolling up against the Abishai Avengers. 4 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties. This is going to be the father-son game of the season. We are going to see the Abishai Avengers come up and just smack their father down with a, I'm going to say 4-2 victory. I think he's finally going to lose a couple of mechs, but he's going to beat his father.
I do remember hearing some chanting about must beat the child, over and over the last few weeks. So I think Galen is absolutely pumped to try and go into this. I'm thinking he might pull a surprise or 2 out of a hat, and it's going to be a 3-2 Pirates victory on this one.
I actually agree with Brett here, strange as that may be. I think Galen is going to do the old adage of age before wisdom, No, wait, that's not right. With age comes wisdom? Something to that effect? I don't know.
Something to that.
Old age and treachery beats youth and exuberance.
Well, that is true. Yeah, if that was the case, why have you been losing, Lee?
Because I'm not treacherous enough.
Oh, okay. But you have the old part, right?
Yeah, I got the old part down.
Okay. No, I think it's going to be a 3-2 victory for Galen on this one. I think I just want Galen to win it. That's all.
Listen here, kid. You can still get beat by your parents.
He's an adult now, so it's no longer child abuse. Game number 3, we have Riston's Rogues. 3 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie. One of our few unbeaten teams. Take on Parker's Pathfinders with a 2-win, 2-loss, 0 tie record. Proving that he's living his best season, Parker's Pathfinders show up every game day, cocked, locked, and ready to rock, but with a smile. I love it when you write this stuff, Brett, for me. It is so much fun to read, but people are obviously hearing that it's not coming out of my mind. My mind on this is that the Riston's Rogues and Parker's Pathfinders are going to knock heads. You have had nothing but bad luck for at least 2 games, Geoff. Not saying that your season has been going swimmingly, but you haven't really lost yet. So other than your tie with JP, games have not been going great for you. You've just been pulling out wins. I think Parker's Pathfinders are going to continue that of close games, but you're going to win. I think it's going to be a 4-3 for you, because I think the Parker Pathfinders have kind of hit their groove.
Oh man, this one's going to be tough. Chris and his Parker's Pathfinders have really stepped it up. It was a difficult game against him. Matt played a big part of it. I think Matt will play another part of this. And if your piss poor luck continues and his just about average, just average dice, I think it's going to be a tough win for you, but I think it's going to be a 3-2 win for Riston's Rogues.
Oh, I'm fully expecting a tough fight here. Yeah, no, I don't think this is going to be an easy fight at all. Our Grasshoppers are the exact same, but now he has gunnery on his. He's got his Night Star. I have the Cerberus, which are comparable for the most part, right? 2 Gauss rifles. He has an extra ERPPC on it, but then I have my Banshee. I think the weak link in his is that Centurion. But it's still not that bad of a mech, so
yeah, it's still armored like a 55 tonner.
Oh yeah, that's the saving grace on it, right? It's slow, but it has the armor to take a bit of a punishment. So I want to say I'm gonna win. I think it's gonna be a 2-1 for me though, just because I feel like my dice are gonna be the same as always so far this season.
Man, I think you're going to go a little harder than that. If you only pull 2 kills, I think it's going to be a 2-2 tie.
Only time will tell.
You're going to need that extra kill in there to get the win.
Isn't that every game?
We'll see.
Isn't every game you need the extra kill?
Yeah, exactly.
Brett, did you say 3-2?
Yes, officially I'm going 3-2.
Game number 4 has the Fallen Angels with 0 wins, 3 losses, and a tie, stepping up against the Unstoppable War Club. 4 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties this upcoming week. I can't say that John's going to win. The Fallen Angels have been struggling. They've been getting just kind of knocked around, and the War Club does a really good job of figuring out the best tactic to take out their opponent. They've been doing a really good job on scouting. I think John's mechs are going to be average, and the War Clubs are going to be exemplary. I'm going to say I think War Club's finally going to lose a mech. I think they're going to, but it's going to be like a 4-1 victory for the War Club.
Now, when the War Club swings, it swings for the fence. It has lost mechs before. I think the Grand Dragon has died twice. But John, your goal is to kill something this week. Make him pay for the spanking you are about to receive. Do not make a liar out of me when I say 4-1 War Club victory. Kill something.
John doesn't listen to anything we order him to do, right? As much as I want to say it's, I think, unfortunately, I think the Fallen Angels are going to fall hard on this one with the War Club so far. Just the way the War Club has been stomping all opposition. I think John proved me wrong, but I think we're going to see a 4-0 victory for the War Club. Really, John, prove me wrong, please.
Game number 5 is the Battle of the St. Ives Compact, as we see the second St. Ives Janissaries, who have 3 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties. They're going up against the Blood of Bashir, 1 win, 3 losses, 0 ties. I don't even know what to say about your lance anymore, Brett. I'm terrified of that Atlas. The Blood of Bashir, the good thing about it is they have a lot of long-range firepower. If they get an open map where they can see you coming, I think that Atlas is going to go down before it even gets to fire off anything other than its autocannon 5s. Other than that, I don't know how well they're going to do. But you know what? I think any game where that Atlas dies before doing anything useful is going to be a victory. And I'm going to call it that from this point on for the rest of the season. But I'm going to say we're going to see a 3-1 victory for the second St. Ives.
Andrew. No, I want Andrew to win. I want Andrew to win so badly and just stomp Brett. It's unfortunately, I know Brett's a strong player, and depending on the map, that Atlas is pretty scary now with its trial run.
Field test.
Field test. That's it.
That's it. Yep.
Test fire.
I love it. We wrote the skills. We don't know what they're called.
Oh, I know. It's horrible. I want to see Andrew win, but I think it's going to be a 4-2 victory for the second St. Ives.
All right. I've played Andrew in Kill Team. I've played Andrew a one-on-one match just to kind of show him what Battletech was. And after that, he said he wanted to join the league. He beat Lee. That can't be stressed enough. I really am looking forward to this match because no matter how it comes out, I know it's going to be enjoyable. Andrew is one of the most enjoyable people to sit down at a table and play against. He also plays Blood Bowl, and he uses penguins as his guys on the field. Like, who uses penguins? It is just going to be a fantastic game, and I'm sorry, Andrew, for the beating you're about to get. I think it's going to be a 4-2 victory for me.
Now, like I said, it depends upon the map. If he gets that mech down early, the Atlas down early where he can then start focusing on somebody else, he could actually win. It's a possibility. I just think if that Atlas gets to shoot, things are going to go sideways really quickly. I have to go with you, Brett, because that Atlas is just such a anchor for your entire season.
Remember, Andrew, just make it fall down, and then Brett will hit himself to death.
Yeah, you just got to do 21 points to make him do it. 20 points to make it do a piloting check.
So, moving into the second half of the 5th week, we have game number 6, where we see Alexander's Comstar Doom Buds with 1 win recently, that to be said, 3 losses and 0 ties. They want to come crashing down on some Vandals Valkyries. 1 win, 3 losses, and 0 ties. I am not going to say that Vandals Valkyries should win. I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0 loss up against Alexander's Doom Buds, so the Doom Buds will win 2-0. I just also think that the Vandals Valkyries are going to terrify the Doom Buds when those guns start firing.
All right. This is going to be a huge map-dependent game. The Doom Buds all jump and have a lot of long-range firepower. But the Vandals have the potential to wreck a mech in a single turn if they can get multiple mechs within 6 hexes of it. I think this is going to end up being a 3-2 Doom Buds victory, though. Go, Alexander. Do your father proud. Make your mother proud. And then, I think you run into her the following match afterwards.
Oh, man. This is, like you say, going to be hugely map dependent. If there's lots of cover, the Vandals are going to be able to get in closer to be using all those LB20s and LB10s and the Ultra 20, which is going to put a hurt on that long-range firepower from the Doom Buds, which they rely on with that C3I, so... I, on the other hand, don't have any fear of calling a match in the Valkyrie's favor. So I think it's going to be a Valkyrie win with I think a 2-1.
Well, This is the match the entire season and league has been waiting for. Game number 7. Mass Destruction, 2 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. Apparently I pulled the short straw and have to come up against the B-side Brawlers. 2 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. After coming off a huge loss, I'm actually quite nervous to play this game. However, I do have to remember it's Aaron. His skill spends are suspect. His tactics are weak. He couldn't even kill one of Heather's mechs. I'm actually going to say I'm going to win it 3-2.
All right. Both teams batting 500, but Aaron, having just lost to one of the Toms, he is not going to want to repeat that result. I think he's going to rush up and make the Mass Destruction mechs grab for their ankles. This is going to be quick, bloody, and brutal, but in the end, 4-3 B-side victory.
Lee, I just want Aaron to beat you, but we know Aaron talks a lot of trash, but apparently doesn't follow through with it. However, your dice and luck in the last couple of matches has not been the greatest. And you just got thoroughly stomped by the War Club. So, I'm going to go with the B-side Brawlers. I think it's going to be a 3-2.
Yeah, like I said, I'm nervous about the game. My confidence has been a little bit rocked thanks to Calvin. But you know what? That's okay. I've played from behind and had to work my way back up before. I'm normally an upper middle of the pack player anyway, so it just is what it is. I'm going to give it the best shot. I think I can beat him. I just have that much more experience than he does. Game number 8. We see the Donru Tiger Slayers. 2 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. They're coming up against the Thumper's Revenge. 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 tie. This is a great matchup. Both players play very similar style from what I've been seeing. The Donru Tiger Slayers have the advantage of the C3 system and some darn good luck coming out of that Orion. Thumper's Revenge has an overwhelming amount of long-range firepower coming out of just 2 of their 4 mechs. I think it's going to be darn close, and I think it's going to be a 3-2 victory for, and I'm going to flip a coin on this one. Donru Tiger Slayers, I think they're going to take it 3-2.
All right. I think I hear the beating sound of a rabbit foot going thump, 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 thump. She won't care about a C3. Anything that comes out of cover is going to get a hail of fire thrown down at it. Explodey Orion. Warhammer is going down. I might call this a little low, but I think it's going to be a 2-1 Thumpers victory. Brandon's been playing good, but the Thumpers have that random... I did this just because I think it was what I wanted to do this turn, and sometimes that can really throw a player off.
You say she won't care about the C3, but I think that's going to bring a hurt. I think that C3 is going to make a pretty good difference in the match. I don't know, what does the Thumpers have for ECM?
So she started off with a Thunderbolt Nace, which has an inherent. I think she has one on the longbow as well.
Okay, so probably 2. So she'll be able to shut it down in situations, but I think he's still going to get the odd good shot with it. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and a close game. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 on the Tiger Slayers.
Well, we move on to game number 9, where we see the Blitzkrieg Jezebels with 2 wins, 2 losses, and 0 ties, coming off a win against the B-side Brawlers. And that is never going to get old, Aaron. And if I do happen to beat you next week, you're never going to live it down.
Till he beats you.
Yeah, until he beats me eventually. But even then, I'm still going to be able to tell him that he didn't beat me in the season that he's so desperate that he's going to beat me. She's going to be facing off against the Tin Man Tin Cans, who are running a 0-win, 3-loss, and a single tie. They just came off an inhumane beating at the hands of the Kells Keshik. This is going to be a fun game for everyone involved. Heather is a blast to play Battletech with, and Justin is just enjoyable to sit across the table from and talk to. I think they're going to have a lot of fun. Heather plays up, though, so this is going to be a tough one for her because the Tin Man Tin Cans just haven't been performing. I'm going to see this as being very, very close, and I'm actually going to call it a 1-0 victory for the Blitzkrieg Jezebels because Tin Man Tin Cans, I think, are going to be able to absorb some damage and kind of move around in ways that Heather's not going to expect. And because he's not playing like an experienced player, I think that's going to throw her off her groove. So I'm going to say 1-0 victory for the Blitzkrieg Jezebels.
Both of the players are enjoyable to sit down at a table and toss dice. Though I don't get the pleasure of facing off against Heather this season, I do get to see Tin Mans in Week 7. But that's neither here nor there. The game will be fun to listen to, and I would love to be a fly on the wall. I think this is going to be tighter than normal, and the Jezebels are going to go home with a 3-2 victory.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game overall, I think. Hopefully we'll see a Tin Man win on this one, maybe? Yeah? Heather's game has improved so much, and, when she actually sticks to her plan, she does very, very well. I would like to see the Tin Man's Tin Cans win with Justin. So I'm going to believe... Sorry, Heather. But I'm going to say a Tin Man win with... a 1-0.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very tight game, and I think it might even come into the last couple of rounds on who wins. Game number 10, we have the Odin Storm Riders, who I really hope aren't actually cursed, with 2 wins, 1 loss, and a single tie. They're throwing down against the starting to skyrocket Red Suns Irregulars with 3 wins and a single loss, no ties. It's going to be a great game. So far this season, Odin has faced off against the Petulant Perrys, Periphery Pirates, the War Club, Vandals, Valkyries, and lastly, Thumper's Revenge. While the Red Suns have ran into Parker's Pathfinders, the B-Side Brawlers, Tin Man's Tin Cans, and the Lords of the Underworld. Both sides have had some pretty tough opponents. The Red Suns Irregulars, I think, are on a tear. I've been waiting for them to start doing this. I'm always cheering for Gary. Not saying that the Odin Storm Riders don't have a great team. Gary just is nice enough to want him to win all the time. I'm going to actually say Gary gets his 4th win of the season with a very tight 3-2 win.
Okay, so Season 1, Red Suns Irregulars, we're all up in the liquor and the hookers and everything that you could think of to try and get just ways to throw the pilots off. They finished second last for Season 1. This season, their stable manager said nothing. You are eating vegetables, you are drinking water and nothing else, you are living in your cockpits and the simulators, and they got 3 wins out of 4 games. Clearly, while it sucks to be a pilot in that stable, it is working for them. I got to go for another win on this one. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Red Suns Irregulars victory here.
Yeah, Gary does seem to be on a roll right now. And Will has just come off of his tie. And before that, did he have his win or his loss?
Odin Storm Riders are coming off of a win, loss, win, tie.
Oh, see, so they're both kind of on the upswing, because we still count it. I count a tie as a win for this.
It's a non-loss.
Yep, exactly. So I think it's going to be a good match. I believe it's going to be a 3-2. But I think the Red Suns are going to take it, on a 3-2. I think, Gary's upswing right now is just, he's riding that high. Unlike his pilots, apparently.
They're being good boys. And girls. Game number 11, our last matchup of this week. we see the Kells Keshik 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties. They're facing off against the Lords of the Underworld. 1 win, 3 losses, 0 ties. These two are friends outside the league, so I know they're going to have fun. And both lances are beautifully painted, and I gotta say this season, and thank you, Justin, all of the lances look amazing. Even guys that are bringing in mechs that are almost as old as some of our children, Paul, I'm looking at you, your lances look great. Very happy to see the way they're painted. Now, onto this match, I honestly think the Lords of the Underworld are going to come up and get their win, which will get them that much closer to the 500, and get them into good position to possibly either slip into A at the end of the season, or be solidly in B. So I'm going to say they're going to run right into each other, and I'm going to say it's a 4-2 victory.
So I'm torn on this one. Do I call it the way I think it's going to come out, or do I call it the way that I want it to come out? I want the Lords of the Underworld to come up with a 4-1 victory and just take the head right off of Kells Keshik. I want to see that Berserker run across the field, swing its Berserker axe, and just bury it in the face of that King Crab. And then listen while Jay screams Timmy out for everybody in the den to hear. I don't know if that's going to happen. So that's what I want to see. Realistically, I think this is going to be another Kells Keshik victory. I think he's got just a kind of a really dangerous combo going. 4-2 Kells Keshik victory.
Oh, yeah. These two, it's going to be a slugfest. Like you said, they are friends outside the league and have known each other for a bit. In fact, Geoff brought in the Lords of the Underworld to the season this year with him. So
I think I remember hearing something that Jay was Jeff's first friend when he moved out here.
Oh, interesting. Is he going to beat him up that bad then, you know? I think it is going to be quite bloody. I think it's going to be a 4-3 in the favor of the Keshik.
As we roll up to the end of our Week 4 show, I just want to pass on a little bit of information that I think everybody's going to be really interested to hear. We are at 126 subscribers to our YouTube channel, which is so much more than we thought we were going to have. But on that note, we're looking at 150 for the draw for those mechs. We're getting closer and closer to giving those away. So if you are interested in winning in this, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on our each and every episode of all of our shows that have the promo at the end of it, as well as tell your friends to subscribe, because if they subscribe, we get closer to the draw. Don't have to tell them about the promo, we'll do that ourselves, but let them know to get in there and subscribe so it pushes you closer to at least having a chance to win. Otherwise, have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you leaguers in a week.
Oh, 126. That's pretty, yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad. Only 24 more to go. Yeah. Subscribe, folks. Get yourselves in on that draw. And yeah, we'll see everybody at League next Sunday, and the rest of you in I guess another week for Battletech. So have a good night, folks.
All right, thanks for tuning in once again, everyone, as we turn the corner onto the back half of our season. We're going strong and having lots of fun. We hope you are as well. Take care and have a great night.
And now for something a little different than what we normally do, we're actually going to be giving something away. Thanks to a very special member of the community who requested to remain nameless, we have some very exciting news. This community member has painted and donated a lance for us to give away as a random prize to our subscribers. Let me tell you, these mechs are even more beautiful in hand than they are in these pictures. Painted in a Free Worlds League purple, this league-compliant lance included a Phoenix Hawk, a Rifleman, a Warhammer, and the big boy of all big boys, an Atlas. Any new or current subscriber to the channel can comment on any of our videos with this spot in it to be entered in the draw. Now, because we're a growing little community with aspirations of grandeur, We'll post these mechs to the winner in Western Canada at no cost. If someone in Eastern Canada or from out of country happens to win the draw, we will be happy to cover the first $20 Canadian for shipping costs, but ask that the winner cover the balance. A price quote will be gotten beforehand. And we can discuss if the winner wants to get the lance shipped to them or pass it along to another subscriber instead. Now please keep this in mind when entering the draw. To enter, all you need to do is like our video and comment below. We'll do the draw when we hit 150 subscribers. Each video you like and comment on will get you an extra entry into the draw. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to that next major milestone.
Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night, and lights out.